Tour junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? It is time. It is a major, and we at least did it for the last major. My boy, me, and Kenny McAndrews, kiiLkenny, founder of the Moonshot Baby, leader of the Mooney Gang, going to join me here in just a second. We're going to talk about it's Tuesday afternoon. We're going to talk about our thoughts on the tournament so far, leading up to Pinehurst. We're going to get into some outright thoughts, very little bit on that, talk about some tournament bets, get into some props, get into some round one props and some bombs, and just how we're attacking this tournament from a betting standpoint here on a Tuesday afternoon. Want to thank our friends at Bet the Number. Bet the Number is providing all the golf data and analytics that we're going to talk about today. I've been cooking on Bet the Number all freaking week, so you can too. Code TJ gets you $5 off the monthly membership or $50 off the annual membership at Bet the Number. They had the U.S. Open field loaded on Thursday of Memorial. It was already hot and ready. So that's good stuff from Bet the Number. If you're a paying member of my Discord, you can DM me, and I will hook you up with a one-time unique code to get you an even bigger discount on Bet the Number. So let's get into it. I'm going to bring him in, my boy. You know him, kiiLkenny. What up, dude? How we doing?
What's up, baby? How we doing?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good to get with you. We kind of do some cooking over here, some cooking over at your house. We really just we go back and forth nicely. We get on your Twitch, and my dad takes, your dad picks up sometimes, and we just have fun. We hang out.
We hang out, man. Again, it is refreshing to not have to do all the behind the scenes stuff on my show. So, I'll come on here anytime. It's a lot easier and it's a lot more fun.
I know it is more fun I was a guest on a show earlier today, and I was like, this is so much better. Just like turn my camera on and just answer questions.
It's awesome.
But let's just get cooking on this. So, like I said in the intro, it's 3:30. We're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. This is going to drop on Tuesday. But, obviously a major week. It's content bonanza. Everybody's on site. Players are posting videos. Media's doing their job better than they normally do. We're getting more and more players in the press conference room. So we've had a lot of press transcripts floating around. I know my Discord. I'm sure you've been reading them. Where do you stand differently in terms of how you're going to approach this golf tournament at 3:30 on Tuesday before round one versus maybe where you were on Saturday or Sunday, if it's different at all?
For me, it's a lot different. Okay. I think coming into it at first, I was essentially kind of attacking this like it was a normal U.S. Open. And by that, I mean I would say slightly more predictable in the sense of the cream rises to the top. You bet the best guys, and you kind of just make your bet that way. And dude, the more I see and more I hear from the boots on the ground at this course, like the level of variance I think that's going to come into play is like incalculable. And we talked about it a little bit before the show. Like, I think it's making it a little difficult to, feel extremely confident, if you will, on certain guys, at least maybe in the finishing position market. Like, I think, there's a list of guys that I like and that, we'll talk through, but like the luck factor, I think is going to be just downright insane. I spoke
Do you see that coming primarily from the around the green stuff and the greens that we're seeing? Is that where you're
100%? I mean, against Pinehurst, it's going to be firm and fast. This was never going to be like a walk in the park, but the lack of rain over the last week, the lack of rain that we're going to see this week, I can't remember a time that we're going to see greens as firm and fast as they're going to play this weekend. And I think because of that, like, you hear that and you immediately go like, okay, well, Scotty should go out there and dog walk everybody. But the problem with that is it feels like a course where even good shots are going to get penalized, and just bad shots could potentially just get lucky and get rewarded. I mean, I think the luck factor is going to be at an all-time high. Our caddy friend echoed that sentiment exactly. He said there's just a lot of randomness out there. And when you factor that in, it just makes it all in all like a little more tougher to predict. And I think it just adds this level of discomfort that, at least from a handicapping standpoint, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be incredible to watch. I couldn't be more excited, but it's going to be a weird week. And I am curious to see if like the over under total score for the winner moves at all. I think it was like over under 5.5 under par.
I saw 4.5 yesterday.
I think that might even come down come down even further. Again, our friend on the ground said that he would be stunned to see anybody break par for 4 rounds, with the exception of like maybe Scotty. But you've got Scotty right now at plus 280 in the outright market, which is insane. And yeah, like the people keep saying, oh, well, it sets up really well for him. Well, I mean, like any golf course on planet Earth is going to set up well for Scotty. And yeah, you can make the case that because of the, the added pressure around the green, the requirement for precisions with the irons, like, yeah, that all sounds really good. But the counter argument to that is like Scotty's going to hit some good shots to the center of the green that are going to take a weird hop and roll off. And I do think it very, very slightly like levels the playing field to an extent. That's sort of the way that I'm looking at it right now. What do you think?
I see what you're saying. And I can get there, but I don't think I'm quite as far along that route as you are, because I still think that over time, what we've seen is, yes, when golf courses are difficult, you do have variance. I mean, Eric Compton was in second behind Martin Keimer in 2014. Like that can definitely happen. And with the wire grass and with these undulations and the green firmness and all that stuff, I mean, I said this on our show, like Scotty is one bad drive the example I used was this. Scotty is one bad drive and weird bounce on Sunday down the stretch, and his ball being buried deep in either a little bit of gorse or a wiregrass thing. And Seamus Power finding his way right up there with Scotty, hitting almost an identical shot to what we call shower balls, right? Your two buddies, you're playing together on a golf course. Me and you're playing together on a golf course. We both hit our drives this far apart. And I haven't seen two white balls that close together since I got out of the shower this morning. They could be two shower balls, but Scotty's could be buried in the shit and Seamus be in the sand, and he's okay. And all of a sudden, Seamus Power's your U.S. Open champion. Totally understand that. Also, totally understand that, we're landing the ball on a hood of a Buick on a lot of these greens, right?
Yep.
And that if you miss it by a little bit, it's going here, it's going there. I get that. I guess I'm trusting in still the premier elite iron players, especially, to have that just happen less. I had a guy who texted me. He played in the 2014 Pinehurst U.S. Open, and he said, for majors that are this difficult, if you want to get real simple, the key is 50 greens in regulation over the course of 4 rounds. If you can hit 50 greens in regulation over the course of 4 rounds, you will find yourself atop the leaderboard, period. Now, who better than Scotty to do that, to pull that off right now? Like nobody. And I understand, like, it's hard to say that there's a course that doesn't suit Scotty. Like every course suits Scotty. He's proven that he can win on anything. I mean, damn, he won Harbor Town this year. He won Augusta National, right? But I guess there it is a spectrum, right? There are certain courses I think fit him better than others, and I think Pinehurst is one of them.
I think the only pushback I would have on that, not necessarily pushback, but just I think another way to look at it. I agree with you in that, like, look, if it's a tough course, again, the better players rise. You look at last week at the Memorial. The Memorial is a tough course, but it's a fair course. You put yourself in the fairway, you flush your irons, you're going to give yourself looks, and it's no surprise that Scotty won, and you had a bunch of studs floating around the top of the leaderboard. I feel like this course, this week, in these conditions, it transcends from a difficult course to like a borderline impossible fuckfest. I mean, even reading some of the quotes in your Discord, I think it was Wyndham who said it was like a little bit of a homage to Zach Johnson when he said that they lost the golf course at Chambers Bay. Like he said, the greens are already borderline.
Did you see Michael Kim's response to that?
I did not know.
Okay, because I saw that. So this was yesterday, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to show you, or I wanted to see if I could pull this up. So Wyndham says that. Damn it, where is it? Michael Kim retweeted it and had an interesting take, and of course now I can't find it. Anyway, I can't find it. But Michael Kim's take was essentially, he said, this has been a trend on the PGA Tour of late. Now, again, USGA setting this golf course up, PGA Tour has nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Michael Kim replied and said, this has been a trend on the PGA Tour of late, whereas Monday conditions are much more difficult. They bake it out, or they let it get to whatever point. They let it grow a little bit, or they let it soften as the week goes on until they get to Thursday. And then they kind of let it run its course from there. So he's like, Michael Kim's tweet was essentially saying, like, it's been a pattern lately that they arrive on Monday and they're like, whoa, this place is going to be in trouble come Saturday. And then by Tuesday, it's like, oh, okay, it's a little better. By Wednesday, oh, okay, it's a little better. Thursday, it's optimal, and here we go. It was essentially what he was saying. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I mean, Pinehurst can definitely have some control over this, right? They do have control over watering the greens. So I don't think Pinehurst plans on letting it get out of hand. But they do want a firm and fast golf course, which I think they are going to get. But I don't think they're going to let it get out of hand.
I mean, look, the USGA wants it to play tough, and I do think that they were upset with how LACC played last year. I don't think it played nearly as difficult as they wanted it to. It now has the brand of being the toughest major, the toughest tournament of the year. I don't know. I think I lean more maybe that it's out of hands where Wyndham's coming at it from, but I would be surprised if they woke up on Thursday to like a breath of fresh air and suddenly softer greens again, especially with just the lack of rain. Now I understand they can water it, they can do whatever they want to this course, but I don't know, man. I'm playing this more like I think a fair comparison to sort of how I'm trying to approach this in a way is kind of like how I approach like the players with all the water out there. I mean, there's another level of variance and randomness. Helps it's another Donald Ross, the boss design. But like at the players, like to an extent, like, yeah, like the best players have the best chance. But at the same time, like anybody can kind of wake up and win there if it's their weekend. Now, I don't know if I'm that bullish on like a super long shot coming through and taking this down on Sunday, but like I think when it's all said and done on Sunday, the leaderboard, like the top 20 is going to be spattered with some studs and some complete flyers.
I mean, 7 out of the last 10 U.S. Open winners were first-time major winners. And Wyndham Clark last year did not, and I know it was a little easier golf course, but I mean, he didn't have a top, I think his best finish was like a top 70 or something, top 65 in a major before winning last year. So I could definitely see that happening. I just found the Michael Kim tweet. It's pretty short. So the quote is, there's been a shift in the way tournaments prep greens for the week. They used to do a ramping up style where it would get faster and faster from Monday, but now have started to do the opposite. They get it as fast as possible Monday, and either they slow it down or they maintain it for the week. That was his response to the Wyndham Clark quote yesterday. Interesting to see what happens. I mean, obviously he's referencing on the PGA Tour, and this is the USGA. They could do something totally different.
At the end of the day, they can either appease the players and soften it up a little bit, or they can appease the viewers who, the one tournament of the year, they wake up and they want to see carnage. And I think we're going to see a lot of carnage.
But they also want the viewers also want, as well as the sponsors and everybody in attendance, they also want the best players in the world to be able to separate themselves, right?
Sure.
And they don't want the full on randomness factor there. And I think the USGA, I think the US Open still wants to see some level of under par scoring. Like I don't think they want the winner, especially with perfect conditions, with no rain, no wind in the forecast. Like I bet they're sitting around going, a winning score of 2 to 5 under, we're just fine with. And there's only going to be a handful of guys that get there for sure. And the average score is going to be well above that. The median score is going to be well above that.
Yes.
But I think we do see a winner under par.
I think we see a winner under par again. I mean, the sports books seem to believe that, but it's just that at 4.5, it does get me a little more and more excited.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you had Keimer dog walk everybody in 2014, and then other than him, it played for pretty much everybody else over par. And it wasn't like Keimer came out of nowhere. I think he was like 45-1 heading into it. He won the players 2 weeks before that. And then in 2005, I think was it Michael Campbell? I think Michael Campbell shot even par. Tiger was second at 2 over. So I don't know, man. All I know is that I am extremely excited for what I hope is going to be a lot of carnage. And, I think when you and I have attacked like, round props, in the tournaments leading up to this, I feel like we usually lean on the edge of like trying to find the guys that are going to outperform. And this week I'm doing the opposite. I'm looking for guys that I think are going to just get slaughtered.
Yeah.
I'm fading guys in 3 balls more than I am.
Same.
And more than I am, betting on guys. And then same with like round scores, and maybe even if we want to get nitty gritty, like some whole score props. There's going to be a lot of bogeys out there. And I think that's the way to attack this tournament, at least the first couple of days. And then you see what you're working with. Which
we're going to get into here in a second. So all this being said, what are you doing with the outrights pre-tournament? Are you, how much are you letting go pre-tournament? How much are you going to hold on to fire live or maybe after the cut? I mean, it's the hardest cut in golf to make. It's 156 players, top 60 in ties on a tough course with variance. You could definitely end up blowing your wad pre-tournament and being screwed on the weekend.
Yep. So I'm coming in with 2 futures that I got in really at the right times here. The one I'm not really as bullish on based on course fit and recent form, but I like the number. The other one I'm obsessed with. So I'll start with that one. I'm on Straka. I got Straka at 200 to 1 like two weeks ago. That feels like that. I mean, that felt like a gift. And he's sitting you can get him at 90 to 1 right now. If you've got space on your outright card and you're looking for a few more names, I don't think you can do much better than Sepp Straka at 90 to 1. I mean,
love Straka this week.
Recent results speak for themselves. And I like that he's been doing it in these big boy tournaments, man. The guy has just had a tremendous year, and he's doing all the things that are at least a prereq to even have a shot here. He's one of the most accurate drivers on the tour. He's been flushing his irons for the last 2 months. Like he's probably second to Scotty in shots gains approach or really close to it. And his short game is sneaky good, man. His around the green has been solid. He's a fairly decent putter. It's just I feel like every year for the U.S. Open, there's a lot more trends of you have to have finished top 10 in X amount of tournaments or blah 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 blah. Like the recent form element for Straka, there's not 5 golfers I think on earth right now that are just the total body of work of their game is coming in better than Straka. So I got him at 200. I would still endorse him at 90. And I did play him for a little bit on the winner without Scotty market, just in case. I think he's 65 to 1 without Scotty. This week, I feel like that's just sort of like an auto click for any outright you want to go after.
Yeah, me too. I played that Scotty market. I mean, hitting 74% of his drives. Now, this is in the year 2024. This is for every tournament 2024. Hitting that many fairways, does well from the tight grass chipping as well. I think Straka is 100% in play. He's one of my favorite bets. It's an amazing get at 200 to 1. Big fan of what he's doing. And I got 2 angles here I want to talk through. Two quick angles. Number one, I do think there's a little bit of an edge as we've seen some of these videos come out, the Johnson Wagner video, Golf Channel about chipping and stuff. Yep. Everybody's talking about the grain. Everybody's talking about chipping in the grain and reading the grain and understanding the grain and knowing what the grain's going to do when it interacts with the club, but also when that ball takes the first bounce into that grain. Is it down it? Is it with it? Is it across it? I think there's a little bit of an edge to the Bermuda boys. The guys who understand Bermuda a little bit better than others, especially around the green, I think have a slight edge. Sepp, although he's Austrian, he went to the University of Georgia. He lives in Sea Island. He's very comfortable on Bermuda grass. He's going to elevate chipping from tight grass and tight Bermuda grass. That's the first angle. The second angle is if everything is considered equal with a couple players, I much prefer sweating my guy to make the hardest cut in golf Friday morning. So there's not a lot of weather. There's not a weather wave advantage, but I do think there is something to be said for your PMAM guys, because 156 guys walking all around the greens at Pinehurst, 156 guys chipping and, scuffing up the short grass areas around those greens for the first couple of days. If you got a guy late in the afternoon on Friday trying to make that damn cut on the number, good luck. That's not going to be a fun sweat. So I have a little bit of I'm calling it I think it'd be a quarter to a half shot advantage, which again, I'm not saying is huge. It's small, but advantage to a PMAM guy, and Straka fits that mold as well.
The only thing I would say on the Bermuda front, I think what makes it goes into my point about how just kind of just weird and difficult it is to just predict this place is that it's not as simple as just, going into the model and BTN, best model in the game. I was living off that this morning as I was going through my bogey bets. Like you can't just look at guys and be like, okay, they're great chippers off Bermuda around the green, because they're not going to be like, there's not going to be a whole lot of chipping. Like I wish there was a way to find just like shots gained creativity or shots gained Texas wedge, because you're going to see a lot of that. I mean, Keimer putted from everywhere back in 2014. And I think, Webb said it, Tiger said it. I think Webb said he was using a 3-wood. Tiger is going to go more like the 7-iron bump and run route. But like, I think obviously short game prowess is an absolute must this week. I just don't really know how to calculate it, because I think it's less on your ability to chip and more on your ability to just be creative and just be a short shot maker.
All right. So I hear what you're saying there. Let me show the people one thing here. Let me share my screen again. So I got a little tip from a birdie on site and someone had bet the number, and I made a slight change, a slight tweak to the model. TJDB's US Open 2024 model is public and available to anyone who's a subscriber to bet the number. But I'm gonna lift up the skirt and show you something that I added. I had somebody text me today. Here it is. Approach putt performance. Now, not giving it a ton of weight, but I'm looking at it. Approach putt performance is the stat that I've added. And the definition to approach putt performance is, let me pull it up here just so people have the definition. For all holes where putting distance was determined with a laser, the average distance to the hole in feet after the first putt. So it's basically testing lag putt ability.
Yeah.
Which I think could apply on or off the green, right? Now this is probably not measuring. It may not be measuring off the green. I'm not exactly sure, but it is something that I've added to the model, and I think could factor in guys who could have some touch from long distance off the green like that. But I will say too, like I don't think, like I kind of think like the number of guys putting this thing or hitting hybrids or 3-woods might be a little overblown. I mean, we saw Cam Smith. If you're a good chipper, like you're going to chip. We saw Cam Smith today in that demo with Johnson Wagner. He ain't thinking about hitting a damn putter. Yeah. He's going to chip. Like, and I think those guys have an advantage. Like that is an advantage. If you're a good chipper, you are confident enough to hit the chips, and that's what you scout out for these first 3 days, and you decide to do. You have an advantage over a guy who's not a good chipper and decides to, for the one tournament a year, practice and use a hybrid or 7-wood or putter from 70 feet up a hill and down a slope and try to stop it in a 5-foot circle. Like, so you have
an advantage if it works. Like, yeah, if Cam Smith is chipping all weekend and he's chipping everything to 2 feet, yeah, that's it.
Well, both of them have an advantage if it works, but I think I trust the guy who trusts his ability in the thing that he does all the time versus the guy who's like, okay, I guess this week I'll learn how to bunt a hybrid or a 4-iron up there. Like I think that's going to happen. I just think it might be a little overblown by the time we see it all go down.
So I don't mean to hop around here because I know you have your agenda, but I pulled up your model in BTN. The number one ranked guy for approach putting, it's very fitting that it's him because I do want to get your opinion on this guy. Tiger Woods grades out as the number one in the model for approach.
That's the last 50 rounds dating back to I think August. I put the calendar at August.
Let's just do some Tiger thoughts really quick. I think we're both in the same boat. Look, we love the guy, and we kind of know if you got a bad hand, you just fold it and stay away. Yeah. Because of how this is going to play, and by no means this is me bullish on Tiger making a run at another major.
No,
I do feel like if there's any major this year that he has a chance to make the cut, hang around in, and not get his doors blown off, I think a course like this with this much nuance, this much creativity involved, it's an easy walk.
Yeah.
In a weird way, like if there's a setup for Tiger Woods, this feels like it.
It's a flat walk. It's warm, which he talked about in his press conference today. He's like, yeah, I would much rather play when it's hot than when it's cold. It's easier for his body. So it's not going to play overwhelmingly long, and agree with you. The creativity and the touch around the greens is definitely an asset Couldn't agree more. Like, I mean, I'm not going crazy. Like, I would bet Tiger. Is he plus money to like finish top 40 or top 30 somewhere? Like, I would do that.
Yeah, he's a good number for top 40. What is he to make the cut?
To make the cut, I would absolutely do that.
Tiger to make the cut is plus 210. I think I'm going to be hammering that. I think Tiger's making the cut this weekend.
I like it. I'm going to write that one down.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's just talk about some of these props. Some tournament props. So Tiger to make the cut. Where did you find that?
I got that on FanDuel. I'll check DK really quick.
I mean, I'm not usually a minus, a juicy better with taking, having to lay to the books, but like Hideki is the top Japanese player at BetMGM, minus 125. Just feels like I just have to do it. He's against Takumi Kanaya, who's good, at 5-1. Ishikawa, who's washed. Hoshino. Shimizu, which I think that's like a Pokemon character. And Kawamoto.
What do you have? What's that number on MGM?
Minus 125, which I would assume covers ties, but maybe not.
Minus 115 on DK, if you want to go that route. That's the best that I'm seeing.
I wonder if it covers ties on MGM.
On DK, you can parlay those as well. I don't know if you can on MGM. You can't on FanDuel.
So you can't parlay shit on MGM.
If you want to do a little, little top nationality parlay, Hideki top Japanese, I can get behind that, dude. I love Hideki this week.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's also, I mean, he's nobody that he's playing against.
Yeah, I can get behind that. What about in the same market here? Do you go the full fade Rom and target somebody else for top Spanish? There's only, I think, four or five Spaniards in the entire field.
Sergio, Puig, and Chikara. I agree, but I don't know who to pick out of those three.
I would pick Puig. I think I would go Puig.
Puig is hot right now.
Puig's hot.
He's real hot. I mean, Sergio is, yeah. I mean, I do think I do think finding ways to fade. I'm fading Rom a fair amount in round one on like underdog prize picks, all that stuff too. I think it makes sense. I just don't know that. I mean, I could see Sergio having a decent, but Puig would be my favorite if you make me take one.
Hideki top Japanese, Puig top Spanish, plus 834 on DK. That might get some of my money.
Nice. Any other tournament props? I found I had some make the cut, miss the cut guys. Let me find it. Okay. I parlayed FanDuel, Jordan Spieth, and John Rahm to miss the cut. I mean, obviously, we just talked about John Rahm. It's plus 737 for that to happen.
Can you sprinkle in a little Wyndham Clark and get that thing really going? Because I think Wyndham's missing this cut.
I do too. Wyndham does not sound good either. I had Wyndham Clark to miss the cut on MGM. He's a better number on MGM at plus 150. To miss the cut were better on FanDuel. On MGM, Clark and Cam Young were the other two studs that I had at big plus money to miss the cut. They were better on MGM. Clark is plus 150. Cam Young is plus 140. But you can't parlay on MGM. So I parlayed
the three that I was looking at was Wyndham, Rahm, and Hovland. I might be hard fading Hovland this week too, just because of the requirement with the short game. And on top of that, like the game has looked a little better in recent weeks. I thought I would hear a lot more positivity and a little more confidence in his presser today. And he still is not there. I mean, the only way he competes this week is if he is absolutely just stuffing irons. And if he still feels like his swing is a little off, added reliance on the short game, no, thank you, man. I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, agree. And I mean, now I would rather take Cam Young to miss the cut than Hovland, because I think Young is busted all the way around right now. Whereas at least Hovland's still striping it, and I could see him getting to that 50 greens in regulation mark. Cam Young, I don't. But the Hovland conundrum around the greens is going to be a thing, because that's a guy who can't really trust it, even though he's had a little bit of improvement, even though I think he went back to the short game coach that had him going well, and he's like showing a little bit of improvement. it's not like he's going to be super confident doing that. So like
No.
every time he has to pitch, hit a chip shot, he's like, shit, should I try to do this, or should I pull out a 4-iron and do something I very rarely ever do or practice right outside of this week? So, all right. So those are a few miscut options.
Can I throw something at you here?
Yeah.
If you had one outright bullet, you got a $1,000 free bet, and you can use it on anybody that's not named Scotty. And I want to hear top of the board here. So
in the market with or without him?
With them. Just go standard market, and just go 40-1 or lower, or higher, like top of the board. If you had to bet one stud not named Scotty, who is it? Because I'm really coming around on one guy. And you know me, I never click outrights at this price, but my outright card is a little light right now. And
if
I have one that I'm getting more and more talked into, but I want to see what you got first.
If it's $1,000 and it's one guy and it's gun to my head, I hate to do this, man, but it's probably Xander. It's probably the next guy on the board. And I know that's boring, but that's probably just what it is, because Xander is cooking. He's confident. He's got a great U.S. Open track record. It's probably Xander. It might have been. I considered Brooks and I considered Hideki.
So I did a quick little bullshit model on BTN. I pretty much evenly distributed the weights across scrambling, drive accuracy percentage, shots gained total on Donald Ross courses, bogey avoidance, and apex height. I think apex height is going to play a big role this week, especially because we talked about how firm the greens are going to be. The higher the ball is, the softer it's going to land. I think
yesterday.
I think I might be betting Lud. I think Ludwig at 22 might get some of my money. It feels like this sets up perfectly for him. I think the knee is fine. You would know better than me because you got some friends.
Talk to a caddy who played a practice round with Ludwig today in his group, and I got the text today. Ludwig is effing striping it, which is no different than any other day. So for me, this is where I land on Ludwig. Like, does he have the tools? 100%. I'm not worried about the knee. I'm not personally. I just think at the same price, basically, I would prefer the U.S. Open king right now, which is still Brooks Koepka.
My counter argument would be there's no way to model this, but I do think this week, I wish we could measure like shots gained temperament. This course is going to beat the shit out of these guys, and it's going to be very easy to sort of lose yourself out there, get frustrated.
Yeah, Brooks doesn't do that. What are you talking about?
I'm not that wasn't really a pushback against Brooks. That was more of, dude, like Ludwig was all smiles after he made double on the back 9 of the Masters on number 11. Yeah. Like, this guy is unflappable.
He's got a great temperament.
Guy's got a great temperament. I hear you on Brooks, man. I would never push back on Brooks, talk you out of Brooks. He's the king, and I hope he wins. If he wins this tournament, man, that would just be awesome. I'd be happy. It'd be good for the game of golf. But Ludwig with a little bit more juice, more form, I think Lud would be my click there. But that temperament thing, I'm also using that to sort of. There's not a whole lot of guys I think that would blatantly spike here. But any of the temper tantrum fellas on the course, I don't think I want anything to do with them this week, man, because I agree. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Well, somebody, I can't remember. God, I've taken in so much content on Pinehurst. Somebody said the thing about Pinehurst is, like, for example, off the tee, you hit one offline off the tee and you see it go into the native area. But when you hit one offline at Memorial, standing on the tee, okay, that's going to be in 3-inch rough. Ball's going to be sitting down. I know it's going to happen when you're standing on the tee. At Pinehurst, the whole way that you're walking from the tee to the ball, you don't know what you're going to get until you get there. Like, you get there and then you're like, oh, yes, or oh, shit, I am boned, right? And I think having even just that little bit of guessing, and like you hit a bad shot and you're standing there on the tee and you're like, here we go. What am I going to get? Or get lucky. And then you get there and you're not lucky and you're Tyrrell Hatton. You helicopter one into the pine tree and you're done for the week. I agree with you there. I think the temperament thing is real.
we saw a lot of that. I got to give credit. I know in some of our videos we talked about like the scene in YouTube golf.
Yeah,
dude, you got to watch the Brian Bros and Grant play Pinehurst. That's one of the best YouTube golf videos like I've ever seen. The production's insane, and it was cool to see like everything you've heard about this course sort of just transpire in real time, even amongst the three of them playing it. Now, the conditions were a little easier for them. I think it rained a ton the night before. I think Grant shot 2 under. I mean,
they played on media day, didn't they?
I'm not sure what day they played. I know it was recently, but I think they said the course got 3 inches of rain the day before they played it, so the greens were
Did they play for the tips?
I think they tipped it out.
Whew.
And that was the case. There was one hole where all three of them put it almost in the exact same spot, left of the fairway in the gorse. Grant was fine, and the Brian Bros were both under a bush. And I think Grant parred it, and they made bogey and double. So you're going to see that a lot. The one thing with Ludd, top debutante, Ludd plus 140. I mean, that market is a joke. Like there's really nobody in here.
Where are you seeing that one?
You can get that anywhere. You can get that
okay.
Top in region on FanDuel or tournament props on DK. Top debutante.
You're right. That market
Ludd plus 140. That probably will get some of my money.
He's plus 160 on MGM.
Play it there.
And that may include ties or may not. I don't know. But like Højgaard, McKibben, Higgs is.
I like me some Harry Higgs, man.
I do too.
I don't know what to do with him, but I'm gonna have some taste of Harry Higgs this weekend.
I like the Ludd top debutante. All right. Any other tournament props or tournament bets we want to hit on? We talked about a handful of guys because I know we got some round 1 stuff we want to fire on.
I don't think, man.
Let me go back and look at mine. Oh, I did make. What do you think? How stupid is this? Just from your professional opinion. I was just messing around. I was like, let me just go super chalk and do, and this is probably where it's dumb at the US Open because the chalk there's going to be chalk that implodes. I did an 8-leg, almost 7-1, make the cut parlay.
Oh, I hate it already.
It's like Scotty, Xander, Kawa, Koepka, Hideki, Sam Burns, Sepp Straka, and Billy Horschel.
Billy Ho is not making the cut.
No, dude, Billy Ho will totally make the cut, and like freaking Brooks will trunk slam or something. That's all I have for a round tournament or tournament.
I would say in a more normal. Normal's the wrong word here, but like in other U.S. Opens, I think that's a great play because like the best players play well in U.S. Opens. This course just scares the shit out of me, and something like that, like I know one of them is going to be trunk
screw it up. Yeah. All right. Let's talk round 1. Let's talk round 1 props. We've both been, I think we've both been cooking in different ways. I like to cook on Underdog and Prize Picks because it's legal to me and legal to a lot of our followers. So I've dropped a bunch of those in my Discord, but let's talk more traditional like FanDuel stuff, which tend to give us better prop situations. Let me ask you this. First off, any round 1 3 balls that you like?
I have not gone through the 3 balls yet.
Okay.
Let's do that live, like kind of like first reaction names that stand out at the end.
Okay. You're probably not doing a first round leader, right?
No, I'm not doing first round leader.
Okay. I'm just going across the FanDuel stuff. Are you doing any whole? Yeah, we are. We're doing some whole scores, aren't we?
So I love this market. I think one thing I like about it too on DraftKings, you can parlay them, and obviously, the name Moonshot, I like going for juice here, but I am surprised that you have the ability to parlay these, just because, like, I think they're incredibly correlated if you have the right read on a particular hole. Like, if one hole is playing really, really, really tough, instead of betting like 5 guys to bogey it, like I'll do that, and then I'm gonna round robin them in like a parlay as well, because it's like if that hole plays as tough as we think it's going to be able to then maximize the juice out of that. That's a route that I like taking. Like, I wish you could do that for round score, and you can't. And I understand why you can't, because if they wake up and the course is playing a lot more difficult than they thought it was, and you've got a 10-leg round score over, I mean, they're going to get exposed there.
Yeah, the correlation's going to kill them.
And they very newly allowed the ability to parlay the whole scores. So the 6th hole is the toughest hole in the course. Definitely was the toughest hole in 2014. It's anywhere from a 215 to a 235-yard par 3, depending on where they put the pin. I think it played to an average of like 3.4 in 2014. I mean, this hole is just a beast. So what I did was I did a quick model of guys that are just shitty with the long irons, not that great around the green. Overall game just isn't in a great spot. And I prioritize guys playing in the afternoon. Just, if it's going to be, it's just going to be firming up a lot harder. So I landed on Tom Kim, Spieth, Taylor Moore, Eric Cole, all to bogey the par 3 6. Now I bet them all solo as well. They're all an average of like plus 140 to plus 180, I think was the highest one. But the 4 of them to bogey, it came out to like 48 to 1. And I can certainly get behind that. I may do the same for hole 2. I know hole 2, I think, was the second or third most difficult course. I put a feeler out to our caddy friend. I'm curious to see if he'll go into the details here. But I flat out asked, like, where do you see more bogeys? Hole 2, hole 6. But whoever wins this tournament, regardless of who it is, regardless of the scores, if Scotty wins this tournament, he's going to bogey the 6th hole at least once, and he's probably going to bogey it twice. So if you can give me the worst guys in the field that struggle with the long irons in particular to bogey this hole at, borderline close to 2 to 1, I think it's a good deal. And I typically like waiting for pin placements for a prop like this, just because, that it can make all the difference. This hole, there really isn't a safe pin. There's just not. There's a false front. It runs off the back, and both sides anthill into 2 pretty brutal bunkers. So I think you're going to have a lot of guys staring down the barrel of like 15 to 20 foot putts to safe par here. And again, I like parlaying them just because if we have the right read on the hole, then you can maximize the juice on that. So those are the 4 that I landed on.
And you had, so who did I send you? Because we were talking about this. We were talking about this in my Discord. Okay, here it is. I found, so all right, tell me your guys again. Tom Kim, Cole,
Spieth, Taylor Moore.
Okay. I found Clark, Tom Kim. Okay, so I had Clark, Tom Kim, Spieth, and Keegan, and I just ran a quick. I put it up in the Discord. I just ran like a quick bet the number. I called it my U.S. Open hole 6 model, and I ran strokes gained approach from. I think I did. What did I do? From 200 to 225 off the tee and off the fairway.
Yep.
I did greens and reg from 200 yards out, and then I did strokes gained around the green from 5 to 25 out of fairway or tight lies and bunkers. Just because, obviously getting up and down is going to matter.
It's about what I did. I did 215. I think I did 215 to 230 from the tee from fairway. I did bogey avoidance. And I did scrambling, and then I just took 3 guys that graded out terribly.
So Clark, Kim, Spieth, and Keegan all ranked outside of the top 50 in that model that I ran for hole 6, and they're all like plus 170 to 180.
I would have played Clark in mine if I could have. I probably would have added him as the 5th.
I see him on FanDuel.
He's not on. You can't parlay him on FanDuel, and for whatever reason he's not
you're
on
DraftKings
because you can parlay him on DraftKings.
Not on DraftKings.
DraftKings they have the first 6 holes for every golfer except Wyndham Clark. They don't have the 6th hole, which is ridiculous.
Other names in DraftKings I'm looking at, but I haven't run through the model to see. And I know he's your boy, but is Pavon kind of in play? Is he an afternoon guy? Actually, I don't know.
I think he's a morning guy because he was one of the first guys I clicked, but I'm pretty sure he's in the afternoon.
Also, like if you're an afternoon guy going off the 10th when you tee off, you're going to play the 6th at the very end of the day.
Yeah,
that'd be another angle.
But you have to get them live. For guys that haven't teed off yet, you only get their first 3 or 4 holes.
Yeah.
So you can grab them live. I mean, dude, if anybody goes out in like 40, just find their live hole 6 score and just let it rip. But yeah, I told you I like waiting to get pin placements. My concern here is, one, I do think even prior to anybody teeing off on Thursday, I think these prices could come down, especially if just more and more videos start to circulate and the sentiment that the course is impossible continues to fester. And then once you get going on Thursday, like if 2 of the first 3 guys bogey this hole, this is going to be even money, before a lot of you even wake up. So I'd rather just get them now.
It kind of feels like in the way you and I have done this in terms of like how we've attacked round 1 all year, you really do have to like plant your flag, don't you? Like you have to say like, I'm going all in or you just stay away. Like you just say, all right, well, I'm just going to wait it out. I'm not going to fire as much. We'll see how this thing looks. But you kind of have to pick a side and say, I think this thing's going to play way tougher, or I think the books and everybody else are overreacting. It's going to play way easier. And you just have to plant your flag based on that.
I agree. I would say the only exception would be it depends on sort of like the course setup. Like let's say we were really bullish on, round score overs. There would be an argument to waiting to click them if, let's say, like the first 2 holes are like 2 of the easiest holes on the course. Because like you'll see, like depending on how like the guy starts his round, they'll keep those round scores up live and they'll adjust them based just on how they're playing out there. I don't really think they take into account like where certain bogey holes or where certain birdie holes are situated. The problem in this example is the second hole is like is the second toughest hole on the course. So like again, that's one where like if you think a guy's going to go over, you just grab it now because he's probably a good chance he's even par or 1 over through 2 holes, and then you're going to be chasing a higher number if you wait. So this is when you get in early. But I forget what tournament it was where I think we really liked round score unders, but like the first 2 holes were 2 of the toughest holes on the course. It just made sense to wait. Like, hey, if they go out and bogey 1 or 2, they're kind of supposed to bogey 1 or 2, and then you can get the round score a shot lower than it probably should be. So it depends, but yeah, this is one where, especially for this bogey prop, I think I have to just plant the flag because, one, I think the market can knock him down regardless. And when those first couple of groups go out at 6 a.m, if we get a couple bogeys early on, this market's dead.
Out of your 4 that you parlayed here, Cole and Moore also rank quite poorly in my whole 6 model as well.
Yeah, Cole was like the 3rd worst guy on my entire model, and that includes like all the shitters that have qualified in. Like Cole could not grade out worse for this hole.
Is Keegan an option on DraftKings or no?
He is. Well, I remember I had a reason I didn't play Keegan. I forget why.
He's 56th in my model, but he's been playing pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. He's just like in the model that I ran. I mean,
wait a minute. I found Clark. Clark's on DraftKings.
Oh, dude, they just added him. God damn it.
He's plus 160.
I'm probably going to run those 5. I'm going to run the 4 I gave you back. I'm going to add Clark, and I'm going to round robin it by 3s and 4s because that was the first one I wanted to click.
So let's agree on this. It's Tom Kim, it's Eric Cole, it's Jordan Spieth, it's Taylor Moore, and it's Wyndham Clark.
Yes, sir.
To all bogey or worse, hole 6 in round 1.
Yep.
Boom. All right. What else? Any other round 1 props, hole scores, birdie or betters, round scores?
The round scores are brutal, man. I mean, they like the average round score is like 2 to 3 over, depending on who the golfer is. And there's
I think you hit those on Underdog right now if you have access, because Underdog is
those props on Underdog are way better than anything I can get on FanDuel for sure.
Yeah. Birdies or betters the same way, unless they've changed it.
But for the most part, man, a lot of these are just juiced to the over. Like Spieth to shoot 2 over or worse is minus 140. Like,
yeah,
this is a market where I really wish you could get like alt props. Like, give me a price on Wyndham to shoot 77. Like, I would look at stuff like that all day long if it was available. I really wish it was.
All right, let's wrap this up and go through the 3 balls. Where do you want to look at this?
Let's do FanDuel. I feel like FanDuel's usually a little better.
FanDuel 3 balls. Let's live react and scroll together. Hold on. Let me, I'll share my screen. We can do this together. That way everybody can see.
I already got my first one.
All right. Let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right. Okay. I'm going to start scrolling. You tell me when we're stopping here.
I'm not going to click it, but I actually don't really hate Bez. Don't hate Bez there, but yeah, not enough conviction.
Same.
Keep going down. Where are you at?
Hold on, let me see. I kind of don't mind. It's not enough to.
I like Hideki right there. I like Hideki.
Yeah. I mean, buy the dip on Rahm. Is Spieth struggling? I agree. Let's click Hideki. I already have Straka picked in this group.
I like Straka.
And you're a Malnati guy, so that's good. Agreement there.
Guy, I bet on a guy one time, and I'm a guy.
I'm not touching this group. Scott, Horschel, and Kirk. That one's kind of interests me, but I don't want it. I mean, Hadwin's enticing here, but I feel like,
dude, I can't do it.
It's close though.
I really like Fowler. I like Fowler. I like Ricky this week, dude. I do. I like Ricky this week.
He sucks, dude. He sucks.
He doesn't suck.
Yeah, he does. He does. He sucks again. Oh no, you suck again. He won and he sucks again. He can't hit the ball. He lost 8 strokes in 2 rounds at Memorial. 8 on approach. He sucks.
He had a bad showing at Memorial.
He's had a bad showing everywhere. Are you kidding me right now? Other than Heritage, he's had a terrible showing.
I agree. The dude has not had a good year. I think because of the weirdness of this place, the requirement of short game creativity, and the guy that, for better or worse, did make some noise at the U.S. Open last year. Ricky Fowler's not going to win the tournament. I'm not taking like a power stance. I like Ricky a lot more than a lot of guys in his range. And I think if there was a week to have a little bit of faith in Ricky, I like him here. And I certainly don't like Phil this week. Now, I hear you on Hadwin, so if you don't want to fade Hadwin, I get that. But I am more confident in Ricky than I think I normally would be.
All right. I'm going to stay away from that one anyway. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of conviction on Hadwin, but it would more be a fade of Fowler and Phil than it is an endorsement of Hadwin. Does this group here do anything for you?
If it's anybody, it would be Perez.
Mm-hmm.
He has blow up potential. I can tell you this because I had a really juicy outright ticket. I had him 300 to 1 at Memorial. Yeah. Had an immaculate first round, and then did you see what he did on his 18th hole?
Yeah,
that triple bogey. Like,
dude,
this guy is a bad shot away from putting a snowman on the card. I can't do it. I'd rather bet him outright to win it for like $5 than to confidently back him at plus 160 to beat anybody.
Oh, looky here. DB's exposing the already clicked Sam Burns out of this group.
I don't know if I like this.
I know it's definitely a scary one, but this would be the first one I would eliminate. If we find a few that we want to parlay, this is the first one I eliminate. But I am not buying the Cam Smith stock this week. He's not chipping. He's not scrambling at Live. He's not hitting his irons well on Live. And he's still, guess what, also not hitting fairways at Live. Compared to 55 guys, he's like 44th in fairways. He's like 30th in greens and reg. He's like 20th or 30th in scrambling, or 19th maybe in scrambling out of 55 guys on Live. And I mean, I know he's kind of a major. He's been like this guy who plays well in majors, but I think he's taken a little bit of a dip. I'm not buying the Cam Smith hype.
I agree. I would like Burns at plus 160 if the third guy was somebody else. I don't know if I want to fade Glover here.
Watch it be Glover and the just hit every fairway and hit all the greens and reg. Could happen.
Former U.S. Open champion. It's the first U.S. Open he's playing in, I think, since 2020. He's been playing really great golf the last month and a half. And in theory, it's a course that should suit him well. He doesn't hit it that far, but he just peppers fairways all day long. The irons are good and the short game is good enough. If I had to click somebody in this group, it would be Glover.
I'm happy to take this one out. All right, Morikawa, not touching that one. Connors, Jaeger, Grillo, I'm not touching that one either. I low key think Jaeger could have a good week.
His game, he's fallen off a lot though in the last couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that far. Actually, don't think he's that far off. I just have a feeling. Sahith, Minwoo, Højgaard. I'm out on this one. Nope. What are you gonna sell me on Pavon here?
Nah, I can't. I've done enough damage with Pavon. I can't go back.
Okay. Harmon is interesting here, but Dunlap, freaking that guy. I don't want to touch it.
Not for this build, but I'll probably do I usually I'll do what I call, as safe as possible. Like my just stone cold favorite 3 guys.
Yeah.
And then I'll do 3 more that are juiced up that it's I think there's a path. Dunlap would fit that bill for me at plus 230. If I do one with Dunlap, I would do Dunlap, Glover, and somebody else at 2 to 1 and juice it up here. I mean, the spike round is always possible. I'll gladly fade Wyndham. Harmon scares me though here, man. Like I can't stand Brian Harmon, but in a weird way, it does feel like a bit of a Harmon track.
Yeah, I don't love the group. I'm fine staying away. Henley's enticing here, but not enough. Fitz, Willie Z. No, I'm not doing that. Fleetwood, Hatton, Hoagie. Fleetwood is interesting, but Hoagie could do something. That's a stay away group. I want to click Bobby Mack here, but Hughes would magic beans his way to victory out of this.
If I clicked anybody, I'm clicking Mac Hughes.
Yeah. I really like Seamus Power, so I can't click Dean here, or I like the value there actually on Seamus, but I'm not going to mess with that group. I don't like a lot of these. Svensson, Hubbard, Hadley.
Keep going down. I like this. I might be able to sell you in one here. Right. Go up. There.
You can sell me on Webb.
I like Webb here, man. I think I really like Webb this week.
I get it. I'm not doing it. I can't get down with that.
Oh, come on.
I don't want that group either. There's just not a lot here. I kind of like Austin Eckroat out of this group. Maroc just played well in Houston, but I like Eckroat's accuracy and around the green play a little bit more here.
Go down one. How about Noren? Noren to beat Pendrith and Todd.
Yeah. I'm still buying Noren.
I'm definitely still buying Noren. Just click it. We can come back if we got to kill something.
I clicked it. I mean, this is the most automatic group, if you ask me. I mean, I know Sam Bennett did this thing at the Masters 2 years ago, but Ben on at -140 is, if you're parlaying one, you want a borderline free square. I think you're there. I'm not going to bet this because I just hate Cam Young, but this is an interesting group here. Like I think Cam Young should.
Is Sargent still in college? Like, where's he even been competing for the last year?
I think he just finished, right? Because I think he just finished college, or is he going to stay at Vanderbilt? Because Auburn just won the national title, so I don't know. Denny, Ben Coles, and Ben James. Denny's head and shoulders the best player here.
Yeah, I was waiting for the last one. I like Denny too. He was the first guy I clicked when I was doing my fast scroll.
All right, so who do you have then? Let me just do this. Oh shit. Who do you have? Denny,
Noren, Straka, Hideki is the 4 we got right now.
No, you're missing one. Hold on. I'm not gonna do Eckroat. Hold on. Straka. I'm telling you, man, Sam Burns is gonna win that group. Where the hell is it? Straka, there we go. And Hideki. All right, so let me zoom out. So I have 5 in here because I'm adding Ben on as a -140 favorite over Bennett Molinari. So that takes it to 44-1, basically.
I will let you have Ben on at -140. I am not clicking it.
Seriously, over Sam Bennett and Eduardo Molinari? Are you kidding me? You're that afraid? You're afraid of those two guys?
It's less that I'm afraid. Well, I don't know enough about Eduardo Molinari to even pretend to have an opinion here. It's just more of, dude, I don't want to bet anybody going up against anybody at -140 on this track. I do think that like anybody could have their day and get lucky and get the lucky bounce in the Gorsh and Gorse, whatever the fuck it's called. I just at -140, I would have to feel like it was like the stone cold nuts automatic. And on a normal course, like if this was at Augusta or even like at Muirfield last weekend, that would be a Benny on hammer down.
All right.
This week, I don't know if I can do it.
We disagree. All right, I'll take it out. So that puts us at a 25-1 3-ball 4-legger.
I like it, man. And I don't think there's not one I'm really shaky on here. Like if I had to pull one, I don't know who it would be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Hideki if Rom wakes up feeling good and also finds his game.
Like Spieth like chips in and I think it'd have to be Hideki, but other than that, I don't know. I guess it'd be Noren I mean, because Todd Father could just hit every fairway and shoot one over and make one bogey and 17 pars, and Noren like blow up on the last. I could see that happening.
Noren just feels safe, man. I think Pendrick's going to get wiped out here. I mean, we rode the Pendrith wave for a bit, but I feel like this is like the polar opposite of a Taylor Pendrith course. So I like these four. I'm probably gonna click these.
All right, 25-1. There it is. Listen, we cooked for an hour. Great stuff. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. You need to go subscribe to our boy kiiLkenny's Discord. The Mooney Gang is hot in there. The Moonshot founder and his Mooney Gang minions are fantastic people. Great sports bettors. Check them out on Twitter as well. And I guess I'll see you in the chat tomorrow night, right? In my Discord chat.
I will absolutely be there, my friend.
All right, let's try to slow it down, Kenny, because both you and I are firing a lot. We need to save our units a little bit here.
Well, I think I can justify firing.
To play with.
I can justify firing this stuff because I'm not betting a whole lot of pre-20 outrights. I do think this is a week where, like, if you just feel it in your balls that like a long shot might be able to compete and hang around, just wait. Like, wait until it's late Friday, and maybe if you have your short list of bombs that you're looking at, just leaderboard hunt on Friday and just see how they're hitting it. Because like they're probably not going to win, but this leaderboard is going to be funky, and I think it's going to be a bit against the grain compared to other U.S. Opens. So I'm saving a couple of bullets in the chamber for some leaderboard watching.
Love it. Well, we know you're good at attacking that live stuff. That'll be in your Discord. I'll be paying attention to it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Kenny. Bend over your bookies and have a great U.S. Open week. See ya.